How's it going, dudes? So you had to surprise move in order to keep a demonic entity off your path, and you need something that'll help ease you into your new environment. You know, something that's familiar to remind you of the past, but also a little new to help you adjust smoothly to the changes. Something like a Monopoly expansion pack? Wow! This doesn't help at all! Look at this game, man. How can I be expected to play this? Now that's way better. The Monopoly expansion line. Add-ons to the real estate classic that change the way some spaces work or add new opportunities. Hasbro has been attempting to fix Monopoly for literal decades at this point. And after a few too many interesting ideas, they decided, okay, we're just gonna focus on one thing at a time, and released these 3 expansions to the game in 2025. Each one devotes its entire focus to overhauling one specific portion of the game. New spaces, new mechanics, new win conditions, all in an attempt to make the game both more complicated and shorter at the same time. A real easy combo to pull off there. On our adventure, we'll be looking through what each of these bad boys brings to the table, and after that, we'll combine them all together to see what it looks like to experience optimal Monopoly. Strap yourselves in for this one, folks. We're about to get kooky. Now, you may be wondering, Cam, where do you even start when making a Monopoly expansion? What could you possibly add to improve the Monopoly experience? Well, that's pretty simple. You take free parking here and you add a giant F-off wheel. Gambling? The free parking jackpot expansion. Endure the pain of losing it all without even needing to leave your house. The free parking jackpot expansion focuses on making the game even more luck-based than before by adding the free parking gambling corner, a new group of free parking bonus cards, and replacing all of the chance and community chest spaces with the brand new spin spaces. I swear, Hasbro, don't you dare! You play the game the same way that you'd play normal Monopoly, but all money that would normally be paid to the bank instead goes to the jackpot space. Whenever you would collect rent from someone, you can instead choose to collect a spin token from the bank, which can be used to spin the super special awesome gambling wheel. You start the game off with 2 spin tokens for free, and you now get to deal with all of the nonsense that Gambler's Alley here provides. Whenever you land on a spin space or use one of your spin tokens, you can spin the wheel here in an attempt to win it big. This can, of course, backfire horribly if you end up losing a decent chunk of change, but it is well worth it for the chance of buying any unowned property, getting a free house, taking the jackpot, or renting the deal mobile, which I'll get to later. In addition to whatever you win or lose, every time you spin the wheel, you get to take a complimentary free parking bonus card for your trouble. There is no limit to the amount of these that you can hold on to, and they can help you out in a wide number of ways. Slightly alter your movement, buy an extra property, take an extra property, mess around with the spinner a bit, or you know what? Just take the entire gosh dang jackpot. Who cares? You earned it, champ. Not very good at spinning spinners though, and don't want to leave your game to chance? That's alright, we got a cop-out for you. You just want to land on free parking instead. See, the space itself also got a bit of a glow-up. Used to be the only official thing that happened when you landed here was... But now, simply by landing on just this one space, you get to take a free parking bonus card. Nice! Take the entire gosh dang jackpot. What? And take a ride in the deal mobile. Oh no! Honestly surprised they haven't implemented a deal mobile before. That is a dang good name. The deal mobile replaces your current token to move around the board with and comes with 2 small effects to help you out. Anytime you would need to pay rent? Don't. And anytime you would need to pay for a property? Don't. You get that for free now. So you are less in the hunt for deals with this thing and more functionally immortal. Nobody can even touch you in this thing. In fact, the only ways to stop your discount devastation is to either take the deal mobile from you by landing on free parking, hitting it big on the wheel, or waiting until you lose it yourself if you ever get sent to jail. My guy got the setup of a lifetime and just couldn't stop committing crimes. Where does he go? Georgia? But fumbling this kind of advantage should result in a much harsher punishment. Forget regular jail. If you screw this up, I'm sending you to Super Jail. The Go to Jail expansion, because you spend most of the late game here anyway, so you might as well add a couch. This expansion adds even more junk to clog up the board, including the new Jail Corner, the new Super Jail Corner, the Corruption cards, the Super Corruption cards, the Escape die, the Heist die, and the 2 extra Go to Jail spaces which replace Luxury and Income Tax. Don't! You play the game the same way you'd play normal Monopoly, but you start the game off with 2 corruption cards, you can no longer get out of jail by rolling doubles, getting out of jail now costs $100 instead of $50, every time you pass jail, you draw a new corruption card, and every turn you spend in jail, you draw a new corruption card. Corruption cards operate similarly to the free parking bonus cards, but with a criminal flair. Swap properties with another player, buy a property at half price, build houses for free, charge double the rent, make the owner of the property pay you rent, or just steal an entire property. Basically, most of the hijinks you can get up to in Monopoly Cheaters Edition. Blech. Of course, if you want to really punish your friends, then regular jail just isn't gonna cut it. You need to make them feel the hurt, feel the pain by putting them in Super Jail. This one's reserved for the real criminals. I'm talking the monsters, the jaywalkers. Super Jail is so bad that you cannot even end up in there through normal means. The only way to get into Super Jail is by being sent there by another player, and the cards that even do this are few and far between. So with how rare it is to even end up in here, what happens to any poor soul that finds themselves entombed? Well, you can still only stay for up to 3 turns like normal jail, you can still collect rent and bid in auctions like normal jail, you can still trade like normal jail, and you can still play cards like normal jail. Ooh. The only differences between normal jail and super jail are that for each turn you spend there, you get a super corruption card, and to get out, you either have to pay $300 to the player who sent you there, or give them all of the super corruption cards you collected during your stay. Okay, so I got 2 options to get out of here. I either have to take a sizable and painful hit to my bank account balance, or lose the game. These super corruption cards are game decimating. Take a look at what you are just able to do by having one of these on hand. Buy a property from another player for $1. Take any unowned property and its purchasing price from the bank. Steal one property from another player, no restrictions. Build a free hotel on any property. Swap a $1 bill for a $500 bill. Steal one property from every player in either jail. Swap your entire cash pile with someone else's cash pile. And buy a complete property set along with any buildings from another player for $500. These are going to get somebody killed. Most of these effects are worth more than the $300 bond. If you are going to send someone to super jail, make sure they don't have the money to pay to get out, otherwise you are just giving them a straight buff. If you thought that Monopoly could benefit from being a little more chaotic, this one right here, officer, this is the one you're after. Go to Jail also adds some new dice that will get some use throughout the game, the Escape die and the Heist die. The Escape die triggers anytime you land on a chance space and can either net you corruption cards or send you to jail, while the Heist die triggers when you hit Community Chest and can either net you straight cash or send you to jail. You know, this one seems to have a weird fixation on jail, I can't put my finger on it. Kind of annoying how you can't see which space you were landing on thanks to how the spin space works. But if you move this down a bit, then it's pretty easy to tell where you are and you can just roll the die after you spin the spinner. Easy. The last thing Go to Jail adds is a new win condition, which technically Free Parking Jackpot also had, but this one is actually interesting. Both of these expansions have the game end immediately either when all properties are owned or the first player goes bankrupt. After which everyone collects one more round of rent, tallies up their money, and the richest player wins, a system I like to refer to as the cop-out ending. What, you don't want to be here for 3.5 hours? Coward. However, Go to Jail actually adds some spice to this ending, which does shake up how you will approach the endgame, and does so in a pretty clever way. While you've been pretty much getting rewarded for going to jail up to this point, once that end state is triggered by that last purchase or first bankruptcy, any player that is currently in either jail is immediately disqualified. No matter how many properties, cash, or cards they have, they cannot win the game. I love this. It forces you to think a little bit at the end of the game, which is something you don't have to do at all in standard Monopoly. Normally you just sit in jail to cash checks and avoid rent, but if you do that here, there is a real chance that you could literally bar yourself from the win. Especially considering how fast properties can get slurped up thanks to all these cards. I still do prefer actually playing out the ending rather than randomly cutting the game short. But out of all the craptastic shortcuts they've tried before to make the game shorter, this is probably one of their better ideas. But why just go to jail, or go to free parking, or go to go? Visiting these is nice and all, but if we're gonna be true Joel Harden's moguls, it's time for us to start straight up buying these suckers. The Buy Everything expansion. Because why waste my money on Boardwalk when I could own the abstract concept of a salary? This expansion decides to focus on clogging up the middle of the board this time around, adding the sale vault, the sale cards, the buy die, and replacing, oh here we go, nothing. All the other spaces remain intact. We made it through! Choo-choo, mother! You play the game the same way you'd play normal Monopoly, but you now start the game off with $2,150 instead of $1,500, and every turn after you move, you roll the buy die to see what you can do with the sale cards. There are always 3 sale cards on display in the sale vault, and if you roll a green, then you are able to buy one of them for yourself. Rolling a yellow will let you switch out one of these for the top card of the sale deck, and rolling a red will let you discard another player's sale card of your choice. These work similarly to the power-up cards from the other 2, but now you actually have to buy them instead of getting lucky. Meaning for each one, you're gonna have to figure out if they are worth the price of admission and beat everyone else to the buy. There are 3 different colors of sales cards on offer, each one more broken than the last. The red ones are the single-use cards that you can use to get a one-time boost, such as grab a free house, buy a whole property set, steal every player's least expensive title deed, or just take every single 50 in the game. I counted that one out. In my version of Monopoly, that is an $850 instant profit. These are the least broken cards. The yellow sale cards are the ability cards, granting you a continuous bonus effect for as long as you hold that card. This is because, in the spirit of buy everything, the yellow cards represent you purchasing and owning portions of the game itself. Why settle for just having the utilities when you can instead own the buy die, all of the buildings, the sale vault, all of the title deeds, the entire bank, the number 7? I'm surprised you can't buy the table that the board is resting on. Forget that, I'm just gonna buy my buddy's house. Now, in an attempt to balance these a little, unlike the other types of cards, there is a limit to the amount of sale cards that you can have at once, only being able to have 3 max across anything that you can get from the vault. This, in practice, is nothing more than a gesture, as let's say that you only have the all the buildings and the gold hard hat cards. You can now build as many houses as you want on any properties you want at any point in time, all for absolutely free, even if you don't own them. You don't need 3 cards to break this game. But why put together an elaborate setup to get a stranglehold on the market when it's a lot easier to buy one of these green cards and instantly win the game? The instant win cards. Hold on to these puppies, and if you complete their objective, the game ends right there. Thanks for showing up, everyone. Time to go home. These include setups of varying levels of difficulty to get your win, including tricky tasks like owning Boardwalk with a hotel on it, owning 2 complete property sets, owning all 4 railroads, and a few more simple goals like owning any 8 title deeds, having any player roll 3 doubles on 1 turn, or just landing on go. It always has been that if you buy the oranges, you pretty much just win right there. Now that can literally be the case. Of course, all of this nonsense together results in some pretty neat combos, such as this one. Buy Clean Sweep, where if you own any 8 title deeds, you win the game, and then buy All the Deeds, where it says you own all the title deeds. That wording cannot match up any more clearly. You just won the game. We're not even playing Monopoly anymore. This is just something else entirely. Of course, that's not all on offer from Buy Anything, as you also have the opportunity to land on and purchase every space in the game. All of them. Go, free parking, go to jail, all up for sale and coming with their own unique rent values. Truly, the invisible hand of the market has returned to strangle you in your chair. We've even got just visiting, community chest, chance, luxury tax, and income tax up for sale too. All spaces that are not present on this board anymore. Wait a minute. Oh, they didn't. They couldn't! Hasbro, you can't be! They're not compatible with each other. You can only play one at a time. I thought Hasbro was doing a little too good of a job here. Alrighty guys, so here's the plan. We're gonna make 3 unique expansions for Monopoly that are going to be produced and released at the same time. Each one is going to deal with a unique part of the board, add its own unique mechanics, and feature very little overlap with the stuff that it changes. After this is done, we're gonna sell them all separate, but also feature them in a bundle where you can get all 3 along with your own copy of the base game. Oh, I see. So if they like more than one of them, then they can mix and match or play with them all together. That's the best part! No! Who makes 3 expansions at the same time for the same game, all doing completely different things, and then makes them purposefully not work together? None of the main stuff even gets in each other's way. The spinner, the jails, the cards, the vault, even the instant win cards all mesh together into something that still works. But for some reason, every single one of them just had to screw with the community chest. Okay, so it looks like if one of you just leaves the chance space alone, then we should be good to go. I'd rather die. They just cannot help themselves. It is a quoted requirement in office to have something stupid that screws up every Monopoly project. Heck, they might have a leaderboard for it. What am I supposed to do about the combo? I can't just leave this alone, not when so much of it already works, not when we're this close. You know what? Forget it. I'll just finish it myself. Here's how you play optimal Monopoly. Place all of the relevant crap all over the board, add 3 sale cards to the vault, and start each player off with 2150, 2 spin tokens, and 2 corruption cards. Roll to see who goes first. On your turn, roll the 2 normal dice to move, and then do whatever action is required by that space. Assuming you haven't been sent to jail, you can then roll the buy die to see what you can do with the vault that turn. If you roll doubles, repeat this process. All standard rules for the expansions still apply: spin tokens, corruption cards, bonus cards, super corruption cards, the vault, the deal mobile, the instant win cards, all function as they normally do, as believe it or not, these all work perfectly fine together. The only exception being that you cannot trigger an instant win card while in jail, as you cannot win from jail. I'll also be nixing the game ends once all properties are owned rule from Buy Everything, as due to the ability cards, it's very tough to determine what an owned property is. Mind you, this is not a problem from mixing all of these together, this is just a Buy Everything issue. As for the problem areas, here's what you do. When landing on corruption, first take 1 corruption card, then if somebody owns just visiting, pay them rent. If unowned, you can buy it. The only way to purchase the go to jail space is via the spinner or card effect, as you cannot end your turn here without going to jail. If somebody does own Go to Jail, then to get out, you need to pay the regular $100 fee to Jackpot as well as the $50 fee to the jail owner. This effect does not apply to Super Jail. When landing on either unowned tax space, you do not have to pay the taxes, but you do still have to go to jail for tax evasion. You cannot pay the taxes to evade tax evasion. This is inevitable. The only way to purchase either tax space is via the spinner or card effect, as you cannot end your turn there without going to jail. When landing on an owned tax space, you must pay the amount shown on the deed to the owner unless you have something that can dodge rent. Regardless if you ended up paying the rent or not, you are still going to jail due to an audit. Alrighty, and this is the big one. Get ready. When landing on an unowned chance or community chest space, first spin the spinner and collect your free parking bonus card. After that, then you will roll that space's respective die and get whatever effect you rolled. If you manage to make it through this without getting sent to jail and are still on that space, then you are able to buy whichever one you landed on. When landing on an owned chance or community chest space, first spin the spinner and collect your bonus card, but this time roll that space's respective die twice. The owner of that space's respective deed will then choose which die result happens to you, and I'm sorry buddy, but you kinda just gotta live with it. When playing with all of these adjustments, every mechanic in all three expansions should be accounted for and working as intended. Optimal Monopoly. Now that we have carefully went through and formulated a way to get this darn thing running as smoothly as possible, let's turn this car right back around and break it again. What is the craziest thing that you can get away with in Optimal Monopoly? Here are the rules. It is my first turn, nobody else has gone yet. How good of a setup can I possibly put myself into in one turn? As a reminder, the best you can get in regular Monopoly is owning 3 properties after rolling doubles twice. Starting the game, we start with 2150, 2 spin tokens, and got lucky on our draw with rent hike and insider trading. On our first roll, we roll an 8 on doubles, putting us on Vermont Avenue, which we will of course buy. This will end up being nothing more than a defensive measure for the steal every player's lowest valued property sale card. After this, we roll the buy die for this turn, hit green, and buy the gold hard hat ability for $250. On our second roll, we roll a 6 on doubles, putting us on Virginia Avenue, which we of course buy. After this, we roll the buy die and hit green, so we buy the all the buildings ability for $100. On our third roll, we roll a 6 on not doubles and land on free parking, which gives us all of our money back thanks to the jackpot. We also get to take a bonus card where we manage to draw take 2. Since we're already here too, might as well buy the free parking space because why not? After this, we roll the buy die and hit green, so we buy the Instant Monopoly single-use card for $50. This is where the fun begins. We spend 1 spin chip to spin the spinner and land on buy any one unowned property. So we buy St. Charles Place for $140, and then play the Take 2 card to buy the next unowned property, States Avenue, for $140. As a result of spinning the spinner, we get a bonus card and draw free property. We then use our Instant Monopoly sale card to buy the entire orange color set all at once, use our second spinner token to spin again, hit the jackpot, and get all of our money right back. Since we have spun the spinner, we get to take a bonus card and draw free property. We then use 1 free property bonus card to acquire Park Place for free, and the other free property bonus card to acquire Boardwalk for free, setting us up with 3 full color sets. After that's all done, we then use our gold hard hat and all the buildings combo to put 4 greenhouses on every single property in these color sets. This leaves us with the ability to purchase hotels on any of these if the need arises, while leaving exactly 1 total house left in the box if someone else would like to build, as there are a finite amount of houses, giving you absolute total control over the entire housing market. This is all done completely for free. After all of this takes place, here's where we stand. We now control 3 different monopolies, including both of the ones coming out of jail, with each of them containing 4 houses, giving us complete control over the housing market. We have Vermont as a defensive property, we have taken control of the Dealmobile after landing on free parking, and since you can't play corruption cards on your first turn, we have insider trading to swap back our properties if somebody takes them, and rent hike to make the minimum rent payment over $1,000 if anyone hits any of our houses. If they hit Boardwalk, they could owe up to $3,400. Mind you, at the end of this, we have not lost one single dollar out of our starting fund, and nobody else has even gotten to take a turn yet. Realistically, this game is over. Everyone else has quit. You will never see them again. Just as a hypothetical for fun here, though, let's see what happens if somebody actually decides to keep playing here. They roll doubles. They move, roll the buy die, hit the yellow, swap the cards. They roll again. Doubles. Look at that, they just lost half of their entire starting cash. Easy money. Roll the buy die again. Green. They buy the doubles instant win card for $50. Oh no! They roll again. Doubles. Game over. You lose. Yeah, you cannot recover from that. You are never seen in public again. This is a fully legal move, as since the game immediately ends the moment you roll the third doubles, you do not have the opportunity to go to jail for it, as the game is already over. Have you ever seen a Monopoly game FTK'd before? This isn't even a mess caused by the combination. You can just do this and buy everything. Optimal Monopoly is going to be short, and it is going to be a disaster. If you like chaos in your board game, you aren't gonna find a more potent source of it than whatever's going on here. That is, unless, potentially, as a thought, hypothetically, we added a little bit more. What, you thought they only made 3 expansions in 90 years? No! They made 6. Less than I expected, more than I can handle. That's right, we got 3 more expansions we can add to this bad boy, 2 of them coming out in the long-forgotten year of 2009. Those being the Get Out of Jail minigame and the Free Parking minigame. Now, these are 2 interesting products as they do function on their own as separate minigames that come with their own full rule sets. No classic Monopoly game required to play here, you can get on just fine with each one. But what I am interested in here is that these can also function as small expansions to Monopoly itself. So let's see if I can somehow fit these into the abomination to make it even more optimized. The first one that we have on offer is the Get Out of Jail minigame, which sees you attempting to flick the little Mr. Monopolies out of the jail cell with your shovel while avoiding the guards to score points. This one is very easy to add, as it functions pretty similarly to how it would with regular Monopoly. If you find yourself in jail, then you can add 1 penny bags of each color and a guard into the cell. You then get exactly 1 shovel flick to free at least 1 prisoner without also hitting the guard, and if you can manage it, then you break out of jail without having to pay any fees. Each turn that you screw it up, you have to add another guard as security tightens, and if you can't do it in 3 tries, then you still need to pay the fine to leave. Remember, this only applies to normal jail though. Super jail does not follow these rules. What, you really think you can break out of super jail? Buddy, I'd reconsider. The other minigame is Free Parking, where you try to balance taxis on a wobbly board without having them fall off. Roll the die and follow its instructions, and if you can get rid of all of your taxis by putting them on the board, you win! Same with Go to Jail, this one is pretty simple to implement because it is a very simple game. If you land on Free Parking, you will simply play 5 rounds of this minigame and try to balance 5 taxis without rolling the jailer. If you win, you get to take a bonus card and the jackpot, but if you lose, you only get the bonus card as comp. This makes it to where you either have to earn the jackpot from Free Parking or get lucky and win it on the spinner, making it feel a little bit more special. Also, quick question for Hasbro. Why was it so much easier to implement these unrelated titles from a decade ago than it was to combine the 3 expansions that all came from the same line? While I was able to get my hands on Get Out of Jail, free parking is just not available anywhere. eBay, Amazon, Amazon UK, Mercury, Noble Knight, eBay UK, nobody carries this thing. So we're just gonna... There we go. Now we've only got one more expansion to implement until we are truly optimized, and this one is a little bit older than the others. You see, these 5 all came out post-2000, while this one falls a smidgen prior to that in 1936. 1 year after the game's official release. Heck, Parker Brothers was not only still around, they were still recognizing that finance existed. Now, take a look at all the nonsense going on here and think, oh, we've got real estate, we've got gambling, we've got crime. What is the most obvious thing you could possibly add to a game of Monopoly? That's right, stocks! To those of you who said guns, you're thinking of Fortnite Monopoly. That is its own thing. Stock Exchange, an exciting new expansion for Monopoly real estate trading game. Stock Exchange, an exciting new expansion for Monopoly real estate trading game, adds a whole new stock exchange space that replaces free parking, 6 different stocks that you can choose to invest in, and new chance and community chest cards that revolve around the stocks themselves. A fairly decent offering for the time. Now, you might hear, hey, we've added a stock market mechanic to Monopoly and think, oh great, this will increase the playtime another 5 hours. But honestly, the depth of this one doesn't end up going very far. You simply slip this bad boy over free parking, and every time you land here, you can buy 1 share of any stock that still has some, as there are only 5 shares of each stock available on the market. Furthermore, anytime any player lands on the stock exchange, the bank will pay out dividend payments to any players with stock based on how many shares that player has. The more shares you have, the more money you get. And that's pretty much it. Yep, the new chance cards do cause some new interactions, but we won't be using those for our purposes today. So how do we implement this final expansion into our ongoing disaster? Well, obviously we can't put it on free parking, as that has already been well annexed. But luckily, we do still have one completely untouched corner of the board right over here. Just slip this sucker over the go space and voila! You still collect money when you pass, but now when you land here, you also have the opportunity to purchase stocks and collect dividends. You can even still buy the space like in Buy Everything and nothing will have changed. And if you really want to include those new chance and community chest cards, then you can just take the ones out that say go to stock exchange and just draw one of them whenever you land here. Yes sirree, this bad boy? Implemented. And that means that we have somehow managed to combine all 6 Monopoly expansions into one game that is unbelievably fully functional. You can actually play this monster as one full, complete, official Monopoly title. This is optimal Monopoly. You might not like it, but this is what peak board game design looks like. As for the game itself in this condition, is it any good? No! My guy, look at it. It looks like it's on some sort of life support machine. However, can you consider it bad? I don't think so. Everything here just works. Most of the mechanics end up functioning pretty well enough together, even though they were never designed to. Heck, 6 unrelated expansions that I've sewn together at random somehow have better cohesion than some entire games on their own. Now, is this board game rights violation balanced in any way, shape, or form? Not even close. This is the first and only time I've ever seen a board game get FTK'd. However, there are many different ways that you can be unbalanced as a game. For example, there's the global survival unbalanced, where there is something genuinely wrong with the game and it completely ruins anything the title was otherwise trying to do. And then there's Rap Rat Unbalanced, where the game is horribly unbalanced on purpose in order to sow chaos and create tension, which is the area I'd say optimal Monopoly falls into. This is gonna be big actions and combos, big reactions from players, and then inevitably some whack crap is going to happen and the guy in third is going to randomly win without realizing. It's like Mario Party. Leave your strategy at the door, it's time to go stupid mode. So, final thoughts? If you're looking to play Monopoly, then stay far away. Optimal Monopoly is not Monopoly. However, if you are looking for a train wreck and want to enjoy yourself during it, then you might be interested here because this garbage has the potential to be what so many of the other revamped Monopoly versions just aren't: fun. Or at the very least, funny. And if you can believe it, the one that might just give you a little bit of fun is one of the very few of these new Monopolies to do one thing in particular. Not try to fix the railroads. Strange, isn't it? Congratulations, Hasbro. It really is just that easy. Signing off for a real fine rail line, I am KamSandwich. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic day. A special thank you to my suppliers, staff, and chefs over at the deli, as well as the media preservers helping me get these rare games ported for the public to enjoy. If you'd like to join the crew, you can take a look using the link in the description below.